Hey guys, making a quick video here to go over the trade that was alerted in the Discord yesterday for the S&P 500 short that did not work out. And the reason I want to go over it is because these alerts don't necessarily always work out. I'm trading off of supply and supply and demand is areas where there's most likely, there should be some sellers or buyers at those zones. Now, if they're not, I don't take the trade or I get out of it quick. That's why the alerts, if you take the alerts, it's important to understand that I'm playing on a likelihood that zone is going to work based off of confirmations that I have order flow, time and sales. I can see what those orders are doing at that level so that I can decide whether or not I want to enter a position. Point being, those areas are, and they're pretty, I'm very confident in them, but I also know that when they do not work out, they don't work out, and they don't work out, it happens fast. So here's what I want to show you as to why or how to use these zones. So if you see, in the Discord, you're going to get in the scalp levels is where I put the supply and demand, also in the members lounge. For the, I use the ES, S&P 500 futures chart, and that is so that you can trade buy or sell options on SPY or SPX. It does not matter. You can do either one with the futures chart. And the reason that I use the futures chart is because I can see the overnight action. I don't have to have the those gaps, which SPY will have. And you just don't get that with the futures chart. It's better, cleaner price action. So the reason that I took this trade, and here's what I was thinking going into it. This is zoomed in. Here's the level. It's a 690-minute supply zone. I'm going to assume you're in here. You're on a 5-minute chart. There's the zone. Here's what you're going to look for when the price starts to get to that zone. So you have it marked out. This area 4008 has most likely or should have sellers in it. Now, at this point, I'm going to go to 1 minute. I like to use the time and sales and just the tape and to determine whether or not I want to enter at these zones. You can do that, and I can make some videos on that, or what you can do is just, for now, if you're just learning, a 1 minute chart, or maybe a 2-minute chart. I love the 2-minute chart, but for this purpose, I'm just going to use the 1 minute chart. Everyone seems to use it. And it's just going to be each bar shows 1 minute of what the price is doing when it gets to that zone. So you're going to see here that the price will get up to this zone. 1 second. I need to go back real quick here and set my stop. So this is a huge zone. It's about a 30-point zone from this area here. So that's a huge stop loss. Don't want that. I'm looking to scalp this. I want the zone to work right away. So what I did was I set it to a 15-minute, and then I went over here to the candle that was the highest point in that 15-minute zone right here inside this area. So after this big drop, a little bit of bounce here, and then up here was the highest point in that 15-minute time period. That's enough for me just because I'm hoping that the price does sell off right when it enters this zone. So mark that down. All right. And then we're going to go to 1 minute. And then we'll see what happens. You can see what happens when you're going to see, now we're on a 1 minute. That's a big 690-minute zone. So we're zoomed in here, and we're going to see what price does when it gets there. Have the stop loss set. Stop loss is above that, a couple points. So 4013, we'll say. The price is getting up there, and it's there. And you're stopped. You already broke through. That was 3 minutes. Technically, I said 4013. That's what I had written down. So I didn't get stopped out yet. I was still in this trade. Here I'm kind of thinking it may work out. Not real happy. And then it's over. 1 minute later. Stopped out. So that is... that is a really good example, I think, of how to use these zones that you see in the Discord. Again, the price has to reject from that area right away. And if it does not, you're going to see here, it'll just keep going. I'm going to go out to a 5 minute so it doesn't take forever. But on a 5 minute, each candle here represents 5 minutes. You can see that slowly it just goes through this entire level and the zone, I'm sorry. And once it gets to this zone, does a little bit of a base and some consolidation and through here, this area here, before it goes back up to the next zone, which happens to be where this scenario really played out. Like this zone really did work really well. And again, like right away. So I'm going to just go over to that one working out, and you'll get to see the difference in this zone. This zone, you'll get to see that right away, price just rejects, and then it just continues to sell off for the remainder of the day. I think it happened around 1 o'clock or something like that. So almost there. All right, so there it is. I'm going to go down to a 2 minute. So you can see here, price is at the zone, 690 minute supply. This is a zone where I have sellers marked, most likely. And you want to see that response right away. And I'll hit play. And you can see it just rejected quick right away. It's fast. You have more sellers stepping in. Price continues to go down, and it just sells off from that area for the rest of the day. This one you could have held down until you got back to the previous zone it gets to. So contracts over 100% if you were to have taken that one. So you can set us, in this case, this is how it would have worked. You have a 20% loss on that first trade. That zone didn't work. The next zone did work. That's about 35, 40 points here. You're looking at, depending on the contracts and the expiration, but you're looking at, pretty good, at least double that. If you're using anything within the week, I mean, you may be looking at 80, 90, 100% return just off of that zone. So, as long as you follow your stop loss, these zones can, over time, back test, and I'm certain of it, are profitable. So that's the situation with that one. Just really, that's all I wanted to show you guys for right now. What I can do is I can also pull up my other chart here just to show you where I have some levels marked for that are coming up here. So here's that zone that sold off, which you just saw, and we saw how it sold off. Now, we've made a lower low since then, so technically, it's a 30-minute chart over the last few days. We're range bound, but yeah, we're just going to go with range bound. But we are above 4,000, so technically you could say that above 4,000 over the last, let's look at the last couple days, couple weeks even. You could say that we've had a short bounce, it's a short relief bounce, but I don't see it lasting. And you can see that the last time price got up to here, it rejected a little bit, but I expect it to, what I expect to have happen is you see we're making higher lows. I can see happening here because we're technically on a longer term time frame. This is a weekly. We're going down. And we've been for a while. We do have this, here's a daily. You see we've had a bounce for the last couple of months and looking to resume that bounce again, but we have sellers stacked up there, and I think they have the fair value right now at 4,100, which happens to coincide right with these supply zones. So I would be looking, and I'm looking to short the market around 4,100, but also still scalp these if I see the price reject right away at these other zones. So there's a 15-minute. So right now we're right in the middle of them. That's how confident I am in these zones. Like the price does stay when we see chop or range bound. More often than not, the price is in between, right in the middle of the two zones that we have mapped out. So they're not foolproof, and you do need to make sure treat each one differently and make sure that you have additional confirmation before you enter the trade. But they're good enough. I mean, it's price. It's just strictly the price and the volume. That's all that matters with those supply zones, orders, large institutional orders. That's it. There's no I mean, there's none of the other algorithms or any of the other stuff that you hear about that is all delayed. This is immediate. This is when you want to get in. You want those contracts before they get a 20 or 30% increase, and your moving averages and whatever else you use finally crossed over. At that point, you're chasing. You want to get in right away where the zones are, where the orders are, before that option premium gets jacked up, because you get that sell off. You wouldn't get a sell off like this if you were just, or know to enter a sell off like this if you're using just hypothetically like some moving averages. You wouldn't be able to get in time. You need those candles to eventually create that moving average cross for you to get in. At that point, contracts are already up. You're chasing. So this is what's so great about supply and demand. You can also use support and resistance. I'll get into that, trend lines, but just the supply and demand as basically your core is how you can make consistent money on the S&P 500. So I'm going to get into more of that as time goes on, but now we're at 11 minutes, so I'm going to close it up here. And just here is the website. There's a lot more to come, but for right now, if you want to come in, you can get access to the Discord. There's some alerts, not a lot right now. The market has not been good for them. And there's also day trade levels, and I'll be coming out with a lot more stuff as well. So that's it for now. Thank you.